Hey everybody, thanks for watching. We are on the last part of our Family Rhythm series, and so we're going to talk about bedtime today. And I do not like bedtime. This is my least favorite time of the day. I am pretty much done parenting by 8 p.m. And so if you're awake, you're on your own. And it's like I literally can't hear my kids talking to me anymore. My ears are full from the day and I'm just done. So this time of day is so hard for me.
I can understand and totally relate to that. I feel like that's the point where we're all tired. Everyone in the family is tired. And so we're already operating at a lower capacity.
Yes.
But for some reason, my personality, if I feel like I have worked a bunch that day or I haven't spent enough time with my kids, I try to cram in all the parenting right then, which is not a great idea. Not gone well so far. So I'm very excited to know what our role is at bedtime.
Yes, if we can dig down deep and just pull from those last bits of energy and try to connect with our kids during this time, we might be surprised at what we get. So your role at bedtime is counselor, your communication is intimate conversation, and the goal is to build intimacy with your kids. So this time of day is just naturally reflective. We can look back over the day, and if you can sit in your kids' room or lay down with them, scratch their back, you can just begin to ask them questions like, did anything make you sad today? Did anything make you happy? Is anything bothering you? Or can I pray for you about anything today?
I love that. Sounds like instead of trying to teach like my natural thing is,
Right.
and we've already learned that's mealtime, but just being present and available for what they have to say is really the key there.
Yeah, it's just being available to connect with your kids in a really peaceful, meaningful way at the end of the day.
I love that. Okay, so something that I recently learned was that we can apologize to our kids.
Yes.
I somehow that thought had never occurred to me, but I can't tell you how relieving it was the first time I realized, wow, I really flew off the handle there. I need to say something about that and apologize to my kid. And just that process of acknowledging, where I crossed the line and apologizing to them, asking for their forgiveness. Oh my gosh, it did so much for me, but it also taught them at the same time and allowed them to understand, yeah, mom and dad make mistakes too. So I love the fact that that's totally possible and it's totally appropriate to do at bedtime.
Right.
Is to right any wrongs, ask for forgiveness, make sure that they feel loved, feel closure, and acknowledge, the places that you may have messed up maybe that day.
Right. Try to own it by bedtime.
Yeah,
you might
that's
you might have to give yourselves a little bit of time, but own up to what the mistakes that you made by bedtime. And sometimes, when we realize that bedtime's a great place to right any wrongs from the day, we're able to acknowledge that sometimes our mistakes, our mess ups as parents, can be some of the best teachers for our kids. Because it's in that moment that you're really able to share the gospel with your kids. I'm not perfect. Why am I not a perfect parent? Because I am so desperate for Jesus. I need him every single day. And so I know this is not who God's called me to be. I want to follow him. And so your kids are learning from that example. And so that can be such a powerful thing for the end of the day. Bedtime is also a really great opportunity for you to draw attention to what you see God doing in your children's lives. So for you to look at your son or daughter and to say, I love the way that you were patient with your sibling today. I've been praying that God would really develop that in you, and I can see that God is answering my prayers. Or to say, you worked so hard on your homework today, even though it was so difficult for you, and I'm so proud of you for not giving up even when things are hard. So affirming those things in them. Or maybe you took the dishes to the sink today without being asked. Thank you for blessing me in that way. So you're calling out the greatness of God that you see in their lives, and that can be a really powerful time. So this is a time that we imagine using mostly when our kids are younger. Right. But I want to encourage you, for parents of older kids, you might have middle schoolers, high school students, I don't want you to give up on this bedtime rhythm, because while you can't plan, you don't schedule bedtime anymore, maybe for that age kid, you can't plan for these times. You can certainly be available for when your kids are ready. So I would really encourage you, as best you can, wait up for them. And I just want you to imagine, like, you wait up for them, they come in, and maybe you fix a little snack in the kitchen, and if they want to come in and have a conversation with you, that might be the time. So your older students are kind of vaults of information, and they're not going to open that vault until they are ready. But you certainly want to be available, even if it's inconvenient for you, even if it's late at night, for them to come to your room. And maybe they crawl onto your bed and they begin to have that conversation with you late at night. So be available, because it's still something that you can fight for and use even as your kids get older.
I love that. And that's a good reminder too, because things will change eventually.
Right.
And so I can imagine that if we make a good connection with them while they're young,
Right.
losing that sense of intimacy will be hard.
Right.
So just knowing that your kid understands that your door is open,
Right.
you're here, and if they want to release the vault, open the vault, that you can.
Right.
So I think that's awesome.
Right.
Well, in all of this, bedtime and every other rhythm we've talked about, we're not always going to win.
Right.
And I like knowing that, because sometimes it does. We're just in survival mode and it's about getting from here to there. But I also love the fact that these are all super practical, incorporated into our daily rhythms, and we basically just need to allow God to use them and to do them with intentionality. So I love the whole concept of using what we already have, the things that we're already doing, and allowing God to do his work through that.
You know, and something that just came to my mind, I read this morning in the Bible, but that we're called several times in scriptures to be alert, to like stay awake, you know, and that's one of the challenges as a parent right now, is not to just kind of glaze over and survive the day,
Yes.
but to be alert, to be awake, and to choose intentionality in those moments. That's one of the things I think that God has called us to as parents. So every day certainly is not going to be purposeful, and you're not going to have these awesome moments all the time. But when you do make time to be intentional with your kid, you are creating space for God to move in your family. And that's what we want. We are so desperate to see God move in our families. I think in 2020, in this time, families are uniquely positioned to be used by God. And so if that's your desire, we hope that these rhythms videos have been encouraging to you. You can find all 4 rhythms on our website and all the resources that we've mentioned in them at theheightsfellowship.org/kids, and click on the Parent tab. Thank you so much for watching. We are grateful to be on this parenting journey with you, and we hope that you've been encouraged. Thanks for watching.